Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Creatively Bankrupt. I am John the Mark, and joining me as always is Mr. Dennis Richards. Dennis, thanks so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Happy to be here. Looking forward to seeing what questions you're going to put to me today.
Always questions, man. I love grilling you. First question is, one that's come in, kind of a topic that I really liked. It was about Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I know you weren't working for WWE at the time, but I wanted to hear kind of your opinion, being a creative writer that you were. It was the heel turn at WrestleMania 17. Austin shakes Vince's hand at the end of his match with The Rock. It kind of business was never the same. Austin was never the same. So, how do you feel it ranks among kind of the biggest mistakes WWE have made? Like, how much of a mistake do you think it was?
Well, I mean, if you think turning one of the most popular acts in the history of the business heel, but still having him being widely entertaining on TV and still drawing in the numbers, still drawing in the crowds is a mistake, well then, I don't know what planet you're on.
Well, I mean, he was still entertaining, of course, but business was never the same. They never hit the numbers they were hitting during the Attitude Era. Like, a lot of people see that as the end of the Attitude Era.
Well, it might have been, but, business, it had to evolve. And in many ways, I think they did better business over the years.
It didn't. It's shown that the numbers dwindled, and not just that, Austin himself has come out and said that he thinks it was a mistake.
Well, you know what? You talk to me when you produce these numbers. You're saying numbers, but you're not showing me any paperwork. So, at the end of the day, you've nothing to back up your argument.
But Austin has said it himself that, the numbers weren't the same and that he feels himself it was a mistake. He's gone on record on his podcast and said it was a mistake.
Find me a recording of him saying that, and then I might believe you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after the show. But, surely you have to believe that it was a big mistake. Like, Austin was the anti-authority. He was the anti-hero. Everybody loved the fact he was against McMahon. So, siding with Vince kind of crushed a lot of people. How can you sit there and say that was a good idea?
I'll tell you a story.
I wish you would.
A 10-year-old Dennis Richards watching WrestleMania X7 with his buddies. We had all our popcorn. We had our rock jammies on, and we loved it. We thought we were that guy at the end of WrestleMania 30 when Taker's streak was rightly broken. I mean, it shouldn't have been Brock Lesnar, but the streak ended, and that guy had the reaction that we were looking for. And that was me at WrestleMania X7. I wasn't particularly an Austin guy. I was a Rock guy. I obviously wanted The Rock to win, but he lost. But I think that him aligning with McMahon was just such a fresh take on the character, really freshened him up. And, myself and my buddies, we were watching that just completely in awe. And I would argue that Austin was more entertaining in the aftermath than he ever was on the lead up to WrestleMania X7.
You cannot say that. Austin against McMahon was arguably the best storyline of the Attitude Era. Like, arguably won the Monday Night War. Like, how could you sit there and say that was better? Like, Austin versus McMahon was amazing. Like, you have to admit that was the best storyline that they did in the late 90s.
I will look, Austin, for me, he didn't come into his own until he started showing his comedic chops, okay? As a serious competitor, I couldn't take him seriously. But I will argue that, the whole Austin 316 thing, that could have been done by anyone. I mean, Austin, to me, I think that, looking back on it, hear me out, I think he was nothing but a warm body. I think or WWF at that time, could have put anybody in that position and they would have thrived just like Austin did. It was a good character. It was a good character description that I think anyone could have taken to the level that Austin took it to, maybe even further.
But you can't say that Austin was the perfect person. You believe this intensity. You believe he was this ass kicker. You believe that he genuinely had a gripe for Vince McMahon. You cannot sit there and say that anybody could have done that job. Like, for example, who? The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker? Like, although they were great and I think they would have been good in the role, surely they wouldn't have been better than Austin.
Well, we don't know. These people were never given the chance. Austin, I think he looked into the role. He happened to cut the right promo. Things worked out for him, but we don't know. If it was Goldust standing there saying Goldust 316 says, I just whipped your ass. Tatanka 316 says, I just whooped your ass. King Mabel 316 says, I just whooped your ass. Actually, there was a guy that I was looking at that I think would have been perfect for that, that I thought was like so talented that I think we missed the boat on giving him the Stone Cold Steve Austin push. And that character, that guy was the ringmaster. I think that character was such a great character. If you look at the Ringmaster, such an amazing character. You know, he was the Ringmaster. Okay, he was the master of the ring. You know, he had a great look. He was a great technician. You know, he had the great $1 Million Dream, Chokehold. He was so charismatic. He was such a badass as well. And I think we missed the boat. I don't know what happened to him, but I think we missed the boat on giving that guy who portrayed the Ringmaster, the Stone Cold Steve Austin push.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, but Dennis, he was the same guy. He was the same guy.
Who was the same guy?
The Ringmaster Stone Cold. It was the same wrestler. It was Steve Austin. He was the Ringmaster.
No, the Ringmaster had hair.
Guys, my name is Alex.
And I'm Alan.
And together we are...
Creatively Bankrupt.
Yes, we are. But this guy here, Alan, he is, of course, the genius mind behind Vince vs. Creative. So if you guys wanted to be the nicest person in the world, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, head on over to Facebook, look up Vince vs. Creative, and give this man a like, because not only does he deserve it, I think you will find that Vince vs. Creative and Creatively Bankrupt are such good shit.